There is a young couple who just bought a house at the end of your street, both in their late 20s, neither of them on a huge wage, and somehow, last month, the sold sticker went up. You do the sums in your head. The place went for well over $1 million. And you find yourself asking the quiet question, how on earth did they manage that? You are not being nosy, you are being honest. Because on paper, those numbers do not add up. So let us pull the whole thing apart and see how it actually gets done. Start with the gap. According to Catality, in 2026, the typical Australian home is now worth around $930,000. That is the national middle. In Sydney, it is steeper again. The middle house now sits comfortably above $1.3 million. And a single average wage in this country is somewhere near $60,000 a year. So one person on an average wage buying a typical Sydney house would be borrowing more than 20 times what they earn. No bank on earth lends like that. And yet, people keep buying. Here is the first thing most people get wrong. They compare the price of a whole house to just one income. But almost nobody buys a first home on one income anymore. The couple down the street bought on 2 wages, added together, 2 average incomes combined, can borrow a genuinely different amount than one. That is the first piece of the puzzle. 2 people earning $60,000 each are a household on $120,000. To a lender, that is a completely different customer. The borrowing power roughly doubles. As a rough illustration, one average wage might stretch to around $400,000 of borrowing. 2 average wages together can push towards $700,000 or $800,000. Same people, very different door. Now the second piece, the deposit. And this is the part that quietly breaks people, not the repayments. The wall you have to climb just to reach the starting line. A full 20% deposit on a typical Sydney place is around $260,000. Saving that on a normal wage can take the better part of 10 years. 10 years. And the cruel part is that while you save, the price keeps moving. You are running toward a line that keeps walking away from you. It never quite feels within reach. So people stop waiting for the 20%. Many now buy with 5% instead. There is a government scheme that lets eligible first home buyers do exactly that, without the usual insurance penalty. That one change rewires everything. 5% of that same place is around $65,000, not $260,000. Suddenly the wall is a quarter of the height. But here is the piece nobody says out loud at the barbecue. For a huge number of first home buyers, the deposit did not really come from them at all. It came from their parents. What people gently call the bank of mum and dad has quietly become one of the biggest lenders in the country. And most buyers will never mention it. The numbers are genuinely staggering. By recent estimates, the family money flowing into Australian property adds up to around $35 billion. Not a niche, a pillar the whole market leans on. And it is not a handful of lucky kids. By some estimates, around 60% of first home buyers now get some form of help from family. More than half, the quiet majority. Sometimes it is a straight gift toward the deposit. And most parents who give it never expect to see it back. They treat it as an early slice of the inheritance handed over now. Other times, the parents hand over no cash at all. Instead, they do something that carries far more risk than most families realize. They put their own home up as security. They go guarantor. Going guarantor means using the equity in your own home to cover the gap in their deposit. It can save them the insurance cost and get them in years sooner. It also ties 2 homes together. Picture a real version of it. A couple, both 29, bought a place just over $1 million with only a 5% deposit because one set of parents went guarantor to lift them over the line. And if you are in your 50s or 60s watching this, that might be the exact conversation landing at your kitchen table right now. Your kid asking, and you quietly working out whether you can. Now the fourth piece, and this one is the least visible of all, because it happens after the sold sticker goes up, quietly, once the neighbours have stopped looking. According to Catality, servicing a new Sydney mortgage can now swallow around 2/3 of a typical household's before tax income. 2/3, before a single grocery shop for a power bill is paid. So the buying does not end the effort, it starts it. One partner picks up weekend shifts. The other takes on a side job. Overtime becomes the normal, not the exception. That renovated kitchen you spot on the socials came after 2 years of nobody going out. The lifestyle you assume sits behind the house is often the very thing that got sacrificed to keep it. And here is something shifting under all of this right now. For the first time in a while, prices have actually been falling, not crashing, but genuinely easing back. According to Catality, the middle of this year brought the sharpest national price drop since late 2022. Sydney led the falls. The heat has come out, at least for now. Two things are pushing it. Interest rates climbed again through the first half of 2026, and changes announced in the 2026 budget have made property investors pause and rethink. For anyone trying to get in, a softer market is not bad news. Slightly lower prices, a little less competition, and sellers who are finally willing to have a real conversation. So let us put the whole picture back together, because none of these pieces work on their own. It is all of them stacked that turns an impossible number into a set of keys. 2 incomes instead of 1, a 5% deposit instead of 20, very often a gift or a guarantee from family, and a level of ongoing effort that never shows up in the photos. That is the honest answer to how they did it. Not a secret, not luck, a stack of ordinary decisions and a lot of help that most people are simply too polite to mention. So think back to that couple at the end of your street, the ones whose sold sticker did not seem to make any sense. Now you can probably guess the shape of it. 2 wages doing the borrowing, a modest deposit, not a mountain of one. Very likely a hand from one set of parents, and a few years of quiet grind that nobody else will ever see. And that matters, because the story you tell yourself about other people's money changes how you feel about your own. They are not doing something you never could. They simply had a structure. If you are helping a child into the market, go in with your eyes open and get proper advice before you sign anything. Protecting your own position matters just as much as helping theirs. And if you are the one trying to get in, hear this clearly. You are not behind and you are not doing it wrong. You are just playing a harder game than the one before you. Quick one before we finish up. Everything here is general information only. It is not financial, legal, or tax advice. For your own situation, it is worth getting independent advice that actually fits you. If this cleared a few things up, do me a favor, give it a like. It helps this kind of content reach more Australians who need it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so the next one finds you. See you in the next one.